What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. All right, what's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. I think this is kind of a really important video, whether you're new to guns, whether you're not new to guns, whatever, right? I think this is a good video because it brings up the discussion, right? And I was sitting here thinking about this, when I originally purchased my Lakeline LLC recoil spring and guide rod for my Taurus G2C. Now, if you guys don't remember, I actually made a video about why it's important to have spare parts for your guns. All right, it's important to have spare accessories, spare everything, really. All right, because it does eventually wear down and break. That was a perfect example. Perfect example. Now, that brings the question of, should you, some people will bring up the question of, oh yeah, well, should I have extra standard parts, like extra OEM parts? Should I have extra, upgrades? So this is more so a video of my opinions on adding upgrades to your defense pistols. And when I say upgrades, I'm not referring to like a weapon mounted light, or honestly, I'm not even really referring to an RMR. I'm more so referring to things along the lines of slide cuts, changing out your barrel, changing out your trigger system, changing out damn near everything of the internals, damn near Gucciing out your gun. But in all reality, it doesn't make it all Gucci'd out depending on what it is. So let's get into it. First off, I'm going to start with my overall opinion on upgrades for a defense pistol. There aren't very many you need if you get a good one. That's something that I should point out right now. If you get a good defensive pistol, a reliable pistol that you can shoot accurately and you don't have to worry about malfunctions, that's really all you need. You know what I mean? I understand some people, they're super particular about the trigger. I understand some people, they're particular about their sights. Some people are particular about a bunch of things. Everybody, I get it. All right. However, let's be realistic here. So let's start with, trigger upgrades, right? My biggest problem with, let's say, a trigger upgrade, because a lot of people, they like to say, oh yeah, the Glock trigger is trash. Now, here's what I will say, guys. The Glock trigger is not the best trigger. Not by any standard. I don't have too much of a problem shooting it. You know what I mean? But then again, though, I will say, a majority of the handguns I've shot throughout my life have been Glocks, or at least have been striker-fired pistols that have been damn near modeled after Glocks, if not Glocks. All right? We'll take that as a perfect example. A lot of people do not like Glock triggers. All right? It's something I have grown used to. I understand where people are coming from when compared to, much nicer triggers. For example, 1911s have nicer triggers. A lot of guns have nicer triggers. However, though, when you sit here and fuck with the internals and have to, when you're sitting there having to fuck with the internals of the gun, and I know my shit's a little dirty, don't roast me for it. When you're sitting there having to fuck with the internals of the gun, everything that's in here, just so you can get a lighter trigger, just so you can get a tiny bit quicker of a reset, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're sitting here at fucking with the integrity of the gun. Now, when I say the integrity, I don't necessarily mean, oh yeah, well, you're messing around with some of the parts. I simply mean you are fucking with the reliability. All right. If you have a good, reliable gun, and all you're doing is sitting there trying to change every single fucking piece of it, you're not going to have the reliability that you once had. All right? You guys are not as good at putting together guns as manufacturers are. I'm not saying this to hate on you guys. All right? For all I know, some of the people who watch my videos work for or are gun manufacturers. So I'm not sitting here hating on y'all. However, I am pointing out the fact that a majority of y'all, if not all of y'all, are not as good at creating and making and building guns as actual gun manufacturers are. It's the truth, all right? Sitting here adding upgrades, adding a bunch of shit into here that you honestly only heard reviews online from, or maybe shot out of your friend's shit, isn't going to help you. It really isn't. Watching a couple YouTube videos about it, seeing, oh, well, so-and-so says that they put 10,000 rounds through this shit, and it hasn't malfunctioned once, so it must be fine for me, without you even having the slightest bit of proof they did that, doesn't mean shit, all right? Well, you cannot fuck with the internals of a gun, all right? This is my biggest issue when I hear people talk about, oh yeah, well, you know, we need to get a trigger upgrade. Glocks need trigger upgrades. No, the fuck they don't. Maybe your dumbass just needs to learn how to fucking shoot them. I'll be honest here. Maybe you just need to learn how to be able to shoot them accurately. Because the simple matter of fact is that when you start sitting here fucking with every little bit inside here and expecting the same result of reliability that you had right out of the factory, you are insane. You are not mentally all the way there. All right. Now, that's not to say that there aren't upgrades that, you know, that's not to say that all upgrades are going to mess with the reliability of your firearm, because that's just not the case. Now, here's an example of one that realistically wouldn't affect the reliability too much, is a flared magwell. Now, that's more so along the lines for competition guns, things along the lines like that. However, you'll see people get a flared magwell because, you know, sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of times in competition, you're going to have to reload. So therefore, you have to do it under pressure, faster. A flared magwell makes it easier instead of having the standard, you know? So that's an example of one that really isn't going to affect the reliability too much of your handgun. However, something like that, I honestly believe is stupid. Now, for competition purposes, I completely see the use of it. All right, I completely do. However, we're not talking about competition purposes. We're talking about for your defensive pistols here, guys. Excuse me. So when we're trying to add anything that realistically you see people in shooting competitions use, if you're trying to add that to your defensive gun, it's not going to work out for you. Now, there are some, as I said, Flared Magwell is a perfect example where it will not affect the reliability too much. It won't. It's just not something I'm going to go out of my way to do. In a lot of defensive situations, you won't have to reload. You won't have to. It's good to have extra ammo on you. Look, guys, I'm a capacity guy. Y'all know that. I've never heard anybody say I had too many bullets on me in a gunfight. I had too many rounds at my disposal. I've never heard that. I have never heard that ever. All right. So I'm not sitting here even saying, oh yeah, well, no, none of that shit. A majority of situations, you're not going to need to reload. Now, if you do need to reload, then by all means, you're going to need to reload. However, in a situation like that, if you've actually practiced and, you know, done your part to sit here and say, yeah, I know what I'm doing, reloading isn't an issue. It really isn't. Now, I will also say that sometimes under stress, everybody fucks up. We're all human. We're all make mistakes, you know? So while I personally don't agree with like a flared magwell, it's not going to be the end of the world or really the end of any reliability of your firearm if you have one. All right. Do I think personally they look kind of dumb? Yes. Do I see the use of them for competition purposes? Also, yes. Two things can be true at once. Three things can also be true at once. The third being, I still don't think it's a great idea to have for your defensive pistol. I think your defensive pistols all need to stay stock. That's it. Like, we'll even go further. All right. The only reason why I have stick mags, is if I'm getting them OEM. This is a OEM Glock 22 round stick mag. All right. Like, Glock made this for their guns to function. All right. I know it's going to work. I've shot out of it plenty of times. I know it's going to work. That's not the problem. You know what I mean? That's not something I have to worry about. Now, some people would like to argue whether, okay, maybe a stick mag isn't really an upgrade. That's not really what I'm debating about here. I don't give a fuck about this. That's not what I'm talking about. Now, we'll take another example. Well, you know, it's funny, I'm talking about this. I just saw a video pop up on my YouTube shorts of some dude trying to flex this. Like, this was such a big flex. He got extended slide stop levers for his Glock 19X. Now, here's the thing. When you guys see the, you know, extended, like what I have, it's not really extended like how this motherfucker has it. You see what I mean? Like, just makes it a tiny bit easier. That's it. However, this motherfucker had the kind that people in competitions use. Honestly, it looks stupid as shit. Does it affect the reliability? I couldn't give you a true answer on that one. I believe it will affect the reliability. However, I couldn't give you a true answer. Does it look stupid as fuck, though? Yeah. Would I recommend it? No, I would not. Now, I understand some people are going to say, oh, well, some of these upgrades, you're literally only saying they look stupid as fuck and moving past. Yeah, because it's my channel. I'm giving you guys my opinions on them, whether I think they're worth it. I really don't think adding too many upgrades to your defensive pistol, or however you want to phrase it, is a great idea. If you got a good defensive pistol, then just practice with it. That's all you need to do. Adding trigger upgrades, doing anything to fuck with the internals, all it's going to do is fuck with the reliability. All right. Getting aftermarket magazines, even though that wasn't a big talking point, is also going to fuck with the reliability. Just doing things that you know damn well don't come with how the gun is out of the box. You're probably going to be messing with the reliability. Now, of course, there are certain examples where, as I said, you might not be. And that's fine. Do your own research. I always tell everybody to do your own research. However, though, adding upgrades to your defensive pistols isn't going to be a great situation for you, because let's ignore the fact that, let's ignore the ones that won't mess with the reliability, because those aren't the biggest concerns. All right, we know that. Just the fact that you would take the risk of something fucking up the reliability of a tool that's supposed to save your life or the life of your family members, anything along those lines, the fact that you would take that risk shows you are way too much of a gambling person to even give a fuck, honestly. I'll be real with you. In my opinion, I think you're too much of a gambling person, all right? I would not take that gamble for shit. I would rather know for a fact that my shit is going to work. And I get it. Some people may disagree. Some people are like, oh yeah, well, I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay, cool. Go ahead and do this and do that to a gun that's not your defensive gun, not one you're going to have to rely on to keep you alive. And if it fails, then you're going to die. Why would you want, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, as I mentioned before, there are some that, it can fuck with the reliability, but they are great products, so they don't. Upgrades are a very, picky, peculiar thing. Doing your own research is going to be very helpful. It 100% is. Now, I will say, don't 100% rely on just doing some research online. Maybe, if you can try to, if you found or know somebody who owns the accessory that you're wanting to get, things like that, maybe try, experiencing it firsthand, things along those lines that would help, base your decision on a more reality and fact-based level instead of an opinion-based level. You know what I mean? Now, once again, y'all are adults. Y'all are going to do what you want to do. I've said this several times on several videos. This is just my opinion. All right. Now, is it an opinion that's decently educated? We can say that. Sure. Yeah. I mean, thanks for the compliment, but sure. Yeah, we'll say that. Decently educated. But, but with that being said, I think about that. Jesus, I can English. I think that about wraps it up for this video. My overall opinions, I think it's kind of obvious. You can do what the hell you want. I will definitely not be putting upgrades to my defensive guns, let alone my defensive pistols, because I'm not going to fuck with the reliability. Reliability is key. All right. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, reliability is key for a defensive pistol. Go ahead and make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.